is going to be carrying forwards the hopes and dreams of the region as a whole.
And North America has sent two very different teams. You've got, I mean, as Jackie said it on the decks, the guard against the old guard, the youth and rookies against that veteran experience. It is literally our youngest average team, the guard, against the oldest average team in the tournament, OpTic. So you could not get two more different sides of the same coin.
We might see a fast tempo straight off the rip in this round. That aggression just pushed off about a moment there by the dart being sent through. Now the drone gets broken pretty early here, so OpTic just holding with his defensive setup and all the players leaning over here.
This is a really classic protocol by FNS. He's going to put down that wall early on, not trying to use it, you know, exactly as the guard get in there, but just to kind of push them back a little bit. Make sure that that right-hand side is more difficult to access. And of course, as the desk said, no Sage in the guards comp. One of the few teams that have actually gone for Viper Omen.
I think they're just waiting for the Viper wall to go down, but the timing starts to get hit. Paranoia cuts across the side, but Sire player, he ends up going down. Victor with 2 FNS as well. The crossfire is immaculate. And just like that, the guard are just going to crumble in that pistol round.
It barely had an opening whatsoever. As Sire player got really deep, but FNS gobbled him up. No opportunity for the entry player from the guard there. And Victor hit some spicy shots too. This is the opener. The Sire player getting caught by that. And FNS with all the freedom to be able to swing back around. These shots, lovely from Victor.
Tasty.
And it is so important for them to be putting emphasis on neutralizing Sire player. And whether that comes in the form of killing him outright, or just separating him from the support of the rest of his team, like they did there, as the rest of the guard not able to push past that Sage wall. Sire goes crazy on IceBox. It's the biggest reason why the guard are good here, in my opinion, is because it's his home map. You think of certain Jets, Shazam, Durka, for example, and Sire player too. They all need to be mentioned when you talk about IceBox. He is just at home here.
He really is. So many incredible moments that have come out from him. In this round, though, I mean, the weaponry isn't good. Obviously, it's an eco being taken by the guard. VALORANT did create a lovely opening for them, but Ye still locking down the backside of Yellow. What a headshot. Oh my goodness. This guy is just unleashed. And if Ye is online, the troubling scenario, I think, for the guard to try and deal with.
But Bren, when is Ye not online?
It's true.
He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo. And he gets the ace in the round. What a statement round to begin here. Round 2, that one is the Ye round. And I'm sure he'll be giving you way more of those. 5-0 at the moment, building up towards the tour de force.
It's very important.
Insanely important. They're on the defense to start out with, and they're going to have an operator that can spawn slow fills. What's so impressive, though, is the skill of these shots. He's holding such a tight angle there, catches onto Trent. And the one that you didn't see as well, just around a corner. This guy's brutally good, and he's been playing better at Masters Reykjavík than he has been doing online in 2022. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what would.
That is an incredibly scary prospect, I think. Any team's going to be looking at that quite worried. But now we're entering that bye round here for the guards. The previous one was just a bit of a teaser.
And Ye feels comfortable buying an operator on their bonus round, because even if he loses it this time, he has the tour de force for the next, or at least he's assuming he will.
Yeah.
Ye's probably good for a couple of Volt Orbs, right?
And OpTic, if you notice towards B main, they actually do have this deep Sage wall that's been placed super early.
That's becoming incredibly meta recently. I've seen so many of the teams on IceBox running this exact wall in the post-patch.
Look, you can't even wait for it to expire. The guards just have to hard clear these corners now as they're pushing forwards, worried about it. FNS is alone. It's going to be up to him to try and hold it down, and look at that. The snakebite to set up the vulnerability is good for the pick onto Sire player, but now the site starting control going their way, but Ye, he might just try and shut it down instantly. 2 picks from the back on Snowman, make it 3. The guy is just, oh, I mean, he's scary, man.
He's unstoppable. He is currently unstoppable. Ye 8-0, and he's just won them the last 2 rounds. I love, though, the little play as Marv throws out the snakebite to set up FNS. That's what I'm talking about, neutralizing Sire player early on. And then that just sets Ye up for so much more space. Remember, OpTic are not running any duelists here. It's not like they can really fight back at the same tempo that Sire player can play at. But if you manage to take him out early in these rounds, Ye is going to harvest.
And do you really need to try and match that tempo when you have bought the round 3 operator? And Ye is just holding down these angles because, I mean,
really.
He's so consistent at just getting value out of holding that one angle.
Net's going to creep up Tube here. He's the man that could make a play happen. Victor holding the flash.
Off of what?
Off the trademark that was in Kitchen, Brent. And Victor swings, grabs the headshot too. There's a paranoia, and FNS knows that there's players around here that he could go for. A little messy, but still gets the job done, and it's going to set up for the rest of the team, flushing out Kitchen.
Sort of flash. Could have potentially got dangerous, but not any longer.
Yeah, they neutralize that threat pretty well.
Trent, not too much you can do there. We've only the Sheriff in hand, but now looking forwards, the guard. Not an ideal start for them, being 4 rounds down. OpTic clearly coming here to play, and OpTic are a team, they have been on a heater ever since they got knocked down into that lower bracket in their group. They have been performing with so much confidence.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case, and they are a very confidence-driven team. So being able to get 4 rounds on the board early on, somebody like Ye putting up 8 kills, 2 kills per round.
And Sire playing Norton 4.
Right, and he's been neutralized not because he's been playing poorly, but because OpTic have had a good game plan for it.
Yeah.
And as MCE, the coach of the guard, calls this timeout, I think now's a good time to discuss a little bit about this rivalry, this map pool. This is, of course, a rematch. They played in the upper bracket in North America, then they also played in the grand finals to decide which was going to be the highest seed. Of course, the guard ended up sneaking that one through, but they're 1-1 overall. And Brent, one of the things that has really been remarkable about OpTic, for a team where there's a lot of community criticism of their coach, they've actually been elite at counter-stratting and preparing against their opponents. And I think Czech gets a very bad rep when it comes to that, unfairly so.
Sure.
The prep that OpTic have had this year has been phenomenal. And when you look at this map pool, the fact that they've allowed IceBox, Fracture, a map that they banned in the BO5, and 2 maps that they lost on, IceBox and then Haven, OpTic are coming in here knowing what they need to improve. And the guard are like, yeah, well, we've beaten them once, we'll beat them again. But I think these kind of rematches often favor teams that lost the first time and are willing to put in the prep work. To me, OpTic checks all of the boxes there.
Especially if it was a close loss, which it was. Going all the way to 5 maps in the series.
All the way to the final round.
You would, usually, at least historically over the course of it, you would favor the team that ended up losing. They are the ones who know what mistakes that they need to correct, and that's OpTic in this scenario. You can see them coming out swinging, and they've actually handed off this operator to Marv for Ye to use the tour de force in this round.
So a double op setup for OpTic. Marv, very rare that you'll see him on the operator, but
he's holding down B long.
So much cash to work with.
Just a quick exchange of the weapons, and FNS going for the jiggle peek, realizes he's not going to be pressured too hard. So this round is obviously the wall, very important for them as well to get that information.
Sire player took a ton of early damage in the round. Look at him, he's on 35 health with no Sage to be able to heal him back up at all. Sire has been getting destroyed early, and I have no idea what did the damage to him there. Did he get wallbanged in mid or shock darted or something? I don't know. But this is their entry player now with an op on low HP. How does the guard make space?
Queuing up the dart! Okay, Sire player holds it. Just the angle perfectly. Marv wants to obviously peek into that one, but did not come up good for it. The Viper's Pit dropped down. I think OpTic are looking to see if they could just disrupt that kind of momentum when they were pouring out into the site. For now, Net just holding it. Danger. It was a dangerous situation. Had to just use the rendezvous to get out of there. Tagged up, but that's right behind the yellow box, and Ye's not finding too much with the tour de force in hand. Ooh, as I see that! What is this?
My word! What is this from Ye? Absolutely absurd stuff, and Jonah P still turns it around. That was back and forth and all over the place, but what a way for guard to put one on the board.
Ye just turning me back before puberty, Josh. I mean, my voice just went up to I don't even believe that.
Ye has some of the most astounding chamber moments you'll ever see, but this was actually a Red Bull clutch here towards the end for Jonah P. And the guard were in control the entire time. What a lovely little play. Gorgeous off angle for Jonah. But that nice at the end there, that's a nice of, oh, we got away with that one.
Got away with that one, but also around the board. And sometimes that's what you need to stop the barreling momentum that OpTic were accruing.
And of course, this guard team, very young, very inexperienced. This is their first time playing on a big stage like this. They've been to some of the tinier lands around North America, but not really as a full team either. So this is really new. The pressure, the nerves, all of this experience. Something they haven't dealt with before, and it might take him a little time just to sink into the game, get into the flow state.
People were talking, speculating maybe it was a bit of a double-edged sword, the guard getting that #1 seed.
In fact, they said that to us as well.
They did. Yeah, they mentioned it. A lack of experience, but a drone tag. Trent's going to be using a Hunter's Fury to see if he can get a pick off, but only the one shot onto FNS. He's going to be able to heal himself up.
Look how it's pulled the rotates, though. For a moment there, Victor and Ye were both going towards B, and they had 4 players over in that side of the map. They've read it, though, and Ye's back in position, looking to post up with his operator in a very deep angle, considering he was all the way towards Kitchen mere moments ago. Oh!
Just misses the shot, man. Giving Valen a haircut, I think, and this is 30 seconds left in the round. Time is running short, yet the guard are the ones who want to just be taking this towards B, but it's kind of been read ahead. OpTic have got so many players set up there. They're looking like they might want to try and pivot into a different section. Can they even get this pick off? Crashies just holds it, but taken out in Kitchen, straight up on top of the tube. There's only 12 seconds remaining. Marved, the solo player, the spike's been dropped, 9 seconds left. They need to try and find him if they want any chance of winning this round.
It's chaos. 4 seconds. They can't get the spike down. There's no time.
Can they find him?
What? The peak!
Why would you try and peek that? You just have to play time, and I'm sorry, you just have to survive to win the round out.
Let me shoot him some bail. Marved hears the footsteps as Sire player stomps towards him like an elephant, and he knows that if he finds the right timing, he can cut Sire player off rather than trying to take the angle and just hold it himself. So there is a calculated decision there from Marved, where he decides to swing into a player that is, running with an operator, but Sire hits the quick scope.
Yeah, a bit ridiculous.
That was an astoundingly unusual round.
Apologies to the viewers at home, but it's the second time I've blown out your eardrums. I'll work on that.
It's this kind of match already, isn't it?
We'll fix it in post.
But the ending of that round was chaos for the guard. They were scattered around the map. Here they go down mid again, not really clearing tube. Sire with another quick scope.
Victor playing that alone though, just trying to disrupt, thinking that maybe there was only a solo player, but that's taken advantage of here. As you can see, the guard are just working their way in, but no one is covering the Kitchen angle. Still, wonderful trade for them, but OpTic with a precise crossfire setup, punishing the players who are just trying to funnel in through that mid area. And FNS coming up with some big kills.
The overall game plan, though, from the guard feels a little rushed. They are literally running around the map, and it doesn't have the same distraction to it of some of their fast-paced rounds. And it also doesn't have the same utility to be able to create space for them to be able to push into. Seems a bit scattered right now from this young team. And these are the moments where you really need Val in the IGL to cool the heads over in the guard. But he himself, of course, a very young player. That's got the pressure on his shoulders currently.
See a bit of a play occurring. Jonah just teethes into his mid-smoke.
That's a nice one, pretty unusual. You're not used to that on IceBox.
And, Victor clearly caught unaware of that one, and he's handed the weapon over to Jonah P again. With Sire player knives in hand, normally a round that I wouldn't be paying close attention to, but some danger of this being turned away from OpTic. That drone, ooh, Sire player trying to catch the timing as well. Trying to avoid it, see if he can get a cheeky shot onto any players, but they don't actually have the information yet that this A side is relatively open.
And FNS pushes forwards. They're with Crashies to be able to get the res off on Victor. It's 5v5 now. They've sacrificed the plan. The guard should be able to get it down, unless Crashies has something to say about it.
50 seconds to the round just to disrupt this with a Hunter's Fury. That is a magnificent shot. Takes out one of the players, and OpTic just going to be flooding into the back of it, making sure that there's no possibility of this Thrifty coming online. Trying only with a classic in hand.
And it's a 6-2.
Disrespect.
OpTic were doing it to Xerxia. I think they like it. It fires them up, right? They're one of those players that really thrives in that.
And Ye has been unbelievable at shutting all of this down. Currently sitting at 15 and 3.
Just a casual 5 KD. Just a KD of 5.
Round 9. Round 9.
Not too bad at all. Gonna have the operator this time posted up towards B with a rendezvous to escape into a high ground position. Playing alongside Marv. And this is another stompy kind of push from the guard. Mid to B, this time with a recon dart into Kitchen, so they know it's clear.
Pushing it forwards, that's Okay, yeah, forced to use the rendezvous just to TP back. Mal has to watch his back there, the spray. Valin couldn't quite get two. Trade ends up coming through. Sire player working his way around, tries to reset the aim of a quick tippity tap of the gun. And now it's up to Jonah P in mid to see if he can do any sort of damage, just taking the duel. Nice play, almost comboed up, I believe, by Victor, just checking the flash down that tube, and now using the TP just to get out of there. Repositioning back over towards yellow. Trent's also found his mark in the form of FNS, but they need to regain the spike.
Chaos, the name of the game here for the Guard, as they just so paranoia in the heads of OpTic. They could be anywhere right now, but Victor's got a gorgeous timing.
This timing is amazing.
Oh, just as Jonah P sneaks around the corner, the patience!
And oh, just a quick hop around the corner. Trent just caught unaware, was not expecting, obviously, at all. But what a timing by Victor. And he's sitting nice and tidy just underneath Ye in terms of the overall scoreboard. He's another player who, over the course of his history, when he's performing at these Masters events on the global stage, he hasn't had a good time historically in his career.
This year, though, Victor is absolutely clean in 1v2s. He has been 5 and 8 so far this year for 1v2s, and that's another Red Bull clutch he puts up. 38% is an astounding win rate when you're down a player at the end of a round, and Victor's been good for it. This is the caliber of player you're dealing with when Victor's playing on his A game.
Ever since OpTic knocked down into that lower bracket of their group,
they've just had fire.
Yeah, it's been a different OpTic again, and they go through these moments. Honestly, they not only have the discipline that they gained so far at the beginning of 2022, but when they have the confidence as well to take the duels, sometimes this team does look unstoppable.
And it's all about consistency with them, it feels. Consistency and confidence, I think.
Sure.
The name of the game for OpTic, and they've certainly started out with both here. The Guard are really struggling to get any headway. Serious mid-presence. Not dealing well, I think, with FNS's Sage Wall. Going for a little bit of a contacty play, pushing past Victor's ultimate. No abilities available for the Guard, and very low weaponry.
Yeah, but trying to take this fight as well, and the OpTic players can just flood right back into it. They know where they are, the crossfires that they have set up. Impeccable to try and shut that down. That's a prime gaming flawless, and OpTic are carrying away this map, fastly approaching the halfway mark.
The Guard need a bit of a reset here. It certainly feels like they do. Look at Victor, he's so confident taking the timing, pushing through the smoke there. And it feels like the Guard are grouping up a lot, not really playing the map, not trying to deny information away from OpTic.
Slow play.
No, not particularly. OpVop in play, Sire player. I said he was the key player to watch for the Guard on IceBox. Normally dominates on this map, and he's 4 and 9.
And the Guard have made comebacks before, but the difference being this time it's on a much bigger stage. That's a wonderful start for them.
That's the opening pick that they need.
Now starting to work their way onto the side. Timing being waiting, there's the dart coming through, and Victor is going to be looking to deny the plan as the snakebite gets sent in. Maybe they can combo with a bit of utility. Viper's pit down on top of it, but with Ye falling early, it's not ideal. Jonah P, what is that? Learning some plays from TikTok or something, I'm not quite sure, but it works out in the end. No one clearing the corner. It's a round to add to the collection of the Guard. It's all he needed for them. And prime gaming flawless, Josh.
That's a big turnaround. I mean, opening pick managed to be acquired there from Sire player. As Crashies goes for not a bad jiggle by any means. And Jonah P, where does he pull this one from? Just as the Viper's pit is going off. It is gorgeously timed. Because OpTic, as part of their protocol, are going to want to try and push inside of that and take the space really quickly as Valin deploys the ult. So it's a great timing for Jonah P to get into the backlines. Is it too little, too late for the Guard? Getting on the board, the best they can do here is a 4-8 half.
Tag up. The Hunter's Fury popped off there. Trent's just looking to see if he can get a pick, but no one's clearing the corner on FNS. He finds 2. Marv also just locking it down, ensuring that he's going to be able to be good for 1, and now just only 2 players remaining here. Final round of the half. Trent and Jonah B. We'd love to get at least 1 more on the board. It would make the impossible task they have for that comeback just all the more possible. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Trent just kicks the KO grenade. No, don't fancy that, thank you.
Now Paranoid to push forwards. Trent knows it. A play needs to be made right now, and they are taking the initiative. Still holding the back of it. Jonah P does get Victor. Takes a bit of damage in the process. Yeah, just working his way around. He knows where the TP was and shuts it down. Any chances of that round going skew whiff.
And he opens it up. The half begun with Ye fragging out, and he closes it out as well.
5, man.
18-5 is an astounding KD. Just absurd.
A dominant half by OpTic so far. Coming out of the gate, swinging here in this rematch against the guard. Let's hand it down to the desk to break down what we've seen so far in that half.
Well, the guard's global debut, not off to the greatest start to say the least. OpTic, though, they're like, this rematch, we're starting off strong. Take no prisoners. I mean, Jess, I don't know who to start with. Ye, Victor, they are all looking pretty good.
What if we just go with the whole team?
Yeah,
I'm happy to just go with every member, but if we had to isolate one, all right, let's put one on your screen. Let's put Victor up there.
I mean, the only reason why we haven't picked Jay is because we know that we're probably going to be talking about him no matter what at the end of this map, but I'm really liking how OpTic is approaching the map, how complicated it is to plant that spike without the Sage. The guard got 3 rounds. 2 of them were off the back of that Viper spin. It's not only because they knew the strat, which is a set strat, but it's also because it felt like it gave them the freedom to actually go for the fights that they wanted. And it's lovely to see not only what Victor was able to do in this first rounds and how important he was. To me, it was the mid round. Of course, there's a lot that you need from your KO. It's not only hitting the shots, it's also understanding how everything is moving. And before I let you go, that Sage wall, all the information that gives you, all the pressure, all the space that allows you to take in the rest of the map, knowing that after they break it, they have to clear corners, they have to take positions even before they try to take B.
I want to highlight just before we go is that Victor, I spoke about him being really like a defensive kind of KO. We saw him on Ascent, for example. He had all these beautiful knife positioning, his throws, his arcs. I was very impressed by it, but I wasn't very impressed by the firepower he had behind KO. Today, he learned how to pop flash. He was taking a bit of Jandy with him. He was going, you know what the Jandy did on KO? Yeah, I want to do that too. I want to add that to my arsenal. And, well, this is a well-rounded OpTic coming out now.
All right, well, OpTic undoubtedly dominating this first half, but how will the second half play out? Brennan Sideshow, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, this is it's looking like OpTic primed to try and run away with this initial map in the series. It's a guard's pick on IceBox as well, but they have come into this very prepared. And not only that, I mean, we are getting that consistent star-level performance out of Ye.
That's absolutely true. I think that Sage point that the desk brought up is really important. The defensive wall was granting them so many advantages that just simply won't be available to the guard here. Much more of a passive look towards B, with Sire player taking early contact.
So risky. He could open himself up, but he finds the head. Quick dash back to health to his name, and he's going to survive. But the opening pickup for them on a pistol round. If the guard were to try and wrangle control back in this map, it's a wonderful start for them.
Planted.
FNS gets the plant down, no major problems there. And Marv, what on earth is this lurk? All the way through A. He's going to be so far away. But are the guard going for anything fast? It looks like they're trying to take their time and look for him. The longer they spend looking, the closer he's going to get.
Yeah. The worse it's going to be for them. Don't want to let them set up here. The paranoia to cut across, I think, connecting onto the drone as well. Dart into the back, and now they're going to start to try and take some space and scaling forwards. Setting it up, 2 of the players, making sure that they can lock it, but Crashy still has the ghost spamming straight through the smoke, unloading the clip. He's finding the heads at the end of the day, but it's not enough for them. Half on the defuse, and time was running low, but a critical round to win here for the guard.
That's massive for any comeback opportunities. You really needed that pistol. 9-3 feels almost impossible to come back from. So absolute necessity. We highlighted Marv's flank earlier on, and Crashies was trying to buy time for it, but it just wasn't enough. Net with the headhunter, you can see in the kill feed there, managed to find that pick. But I'm concerned how timid the guard were at trying to shut down Crashies towards the end there. That's where I want to see the confidence flowing. And of course it has taken a knock early on, but you really need to be confident to help your teammates and flush that player out.
Sure, being proactive, not letting them get comfortable setting up with a post plant, so they're in those corners as well. And OpTic is a team that historically as well, when they come to these big events, they tend to perform a lot better against the domestic competition, those North American teams.
That's a great point. Yeah, we were wondering, with the guard missing groups, maybe playing against a familiar opponent would be a nice way to warm yourself up a little bit.
Yeah.
But actually, when you consider it, OpTic's international record, their record against the teams from outside of North America, 5-4. They're 2-0 against NA teams at Masters events. They seem to really thrive in knowing their opponents and specifically prepping against them. Something that's easier to do when you've scrimmed against them for months and months.
Absolutely. There's confidence in knowing your enemy. And OpTic aren't going to be handed a plant here. Bit of money.
A bit too easily,
A bit too easily. There was no pressure to push them off.
Yeah, that's concerning. And Marv once again going for a bit of a lurk play with the Sheriff.
Okay, swing around the corner, and you know, you've got to have faith in Ye to be winning these ones. Still the smokes in play. I'm going to make sure that he can clear around these corners. A little one way to make it happen, but now with the nade sent in, just about misses. Victor unable to really disrupt and do too much more damage. In fact, there's going to be a flawless round there for the guard to keep all their guns moving into the next one, which is an important factor.
Yeah, that is. We'll see if the guard have anything special planned. It's quite difficult, actually, to cook up bonus ideas with the worst guns on IceBox defense. It's a very large map. But this round actually played out in a pretty similar way to the pistol. OpTic playing passive post-plant positions with lurkers.
A late lurk.
Yeah, and that, I mean, double late lurk, actually. They had Victor in mid and Marv in kitchen, so I think already they're starting to condition the guard. You've got to be wondering about our lurk plays. But the guard have actually just answered by doing faster retakes, which I think is a pretty decent strategic adjustment.
Now, finally, OpTic with the rifles in hand. They've got the money to buy it. Crashy's incredibly close to his own ultimate, but for now it's a bit of slow play, poking, prodding, making sure that they can pull some of that utility out of the guard.
Valen and Net, though, have pushed up really deep in B, and they've got themselves a little setup. They can hear OpTic coming towards them as well. This is prime range for the Spectre.
And Valen, he needs to find some value. What a flick around here. Still, Net goes for the swing, the pop flash around the corner, dodged, and Net comes up with the goods. 2 kills, yeah.
Or 2-4-2, rather.
Now with a 3v3. Wall's going to go up, no players on the side from the guard to try and disrupt and burst it down.
Jonapi's paranoia has been so amazing on these retake setups, but normally they have more players alive. They need to break the wall. Jonapi could go for some kind of paranoia play as Trent sends in the recon dart. We've seen him make those kind of moves before.
Cover going out.
Jonapi, the only one spamming this through as well.
Yeah, he can just kind of eat the paranoia and then back off. They've gone for a much deeper version of it this time.
Dart as well comes through, side player dashes right up top. They're aware of his positioning, jumps down into the smoke. Evanes is finished, and that is the OpTic players falling. One after the other. A beautiful utility combo by the guard to try and take control of the yellow box there.
This value from the Omen is superb. We were talking about the difference between the Omen and the Sage, and the Sage's value is really obvious, right? That wall is so hard to deal with and does grant you all of these advantages in the early round. Double smoke on either side of yellow, paranoia onto players who are trying to play post-plan, and Jonapi occasionally can mix it up by using his shrouded step onto the top of yellow too. Yeah. There's so many things as a player playing post-plan that you have to be worried about that Jonapi can throw at you, and it adds a lot of extra pace to these retakes. The OpTic are not dealing with it particularly well. This is a genuine comeback happening right now, and it started to heat up players like Saya, who's back positive at 12 and 11.
That is...
How's he managed that?
Absurd. I don't know. I really do. Well, I mean, I do know. We just watched it. Some incredible individual moments, but obviously being supported by his team a lot of the time. And now you're looking at it. That was the round. The bonus round being taken forwards by the guard.
Yeah.
Taken against OpTic. Like
Massive
you said, Josh,
win.
It's exactly the right recipe they needed if they were going to start to now supply that comeback here on IceBox.
And so what is OpTic going to be discussing here as they take their time out? You can see MCE having a lot of input to the rest of his team. I mean, I think their game plan is working pretty perfectly right now. But from OpTic's side, the retakes are being so successful and the lurks can't find value because they're too late. So what's the answer there? It's quite difficult to play aggressive post plants on IceBox, but we have seen teams do stuff like KO flashing through their own Viper wall and taking Snowman control, trying to put down a wall that like blocks off the site and gives you access to yellow and Snowman for the post plants. I would love to see Victor, FNS add that one into their game, because I think Guard are going to find it much more difficult to get value out of Paranoia if you have to you know, swing into a 50-50.
Absolutely.
Your opponents control a huge amount of the map. That's the adjustment I would be going for.
We'll see if they heed your advice, Josh. Actually, if they, well, hopefully not, that'll be cheating.
Well, also, OpTic don't have the weaponry this round, so whatever that tactical timeout was for, probably going to be implemented in round 19, yeah.
And that ends up using his ultimate a little bit later into the round here, so tour de force just to watch down this mid-angle for OpTic.
Quite an investment, actually, this round, but it's already paying dividends. There goes Ye, and he's one of the most dangerous players on eco rounds for OpTic. They don't win many of them, but they've won way more at Masters Reykjavík than they're known for online. And I think part of that is just Ye really stepping up and having massive value out of his headhunter utility.
OpTic have been granted quite a bit of space here, but we'll see if the guard push them away. Don't hand them the free plant. Wall drop down, dart as well to combo up, but again, without the rifles in hand, it is difficult for them to get much done.
Can you imagine that play, though, but with a Victor Flash? Flash Recon combo together, try and take Snowman control. I feel like that idea would work out. We'll see what OpTic go for next round, but at the moment, in a 2v5 and 2 players with Sheriffs, it doesn't look particularly winnable.
Yeah. He's not known as much for the clutch, but...
That's true. He has a very specific role on this team, and it is as an IGL. He gets decent value, actually, on IceBox out of his Sage, so no problems there.
Yeah.
It's a prime game in Flawless as the guard draw things back up. 7-9.
And this was a 9-3 half, Josh.
That's crazy.
9-3 half.
Both teams, Brent, both teams starting out with a 4-0 lead to their defensive half.
You can kind of see why with, I think, the nature as well, the composition. If you look at OpTic's lineup, when you put Ye on the chamber, that conscious decision, he's not going to be afforded as much agency to, you know,
make space.
Rapidly take space. You know?
Yeah.
He needs to be set up for it with his teleports. He can still do it, but it's a lot more purposeful compared to if he was on Jet. He could be, you know, at any given moment, just dash away or take space aggressively.
Well, here's a little piece of aggression from the guard. They drone down mid, Sire player posts up with the operator, but they kind of misread the tempo a little bit here as OpTic challenge towards B. Trade 1-for-1 with net. But that means the flashes are gone, so if they had any aspirations of playing past their Viper wall, that's going to be a little more difficult, at least until Victor comes back online.
Sire player. It's going to be heard in mid. The young draft with the knives. Straight over the top. They were not anticipating it. Marv, lucky to shut that one down. It is going to be the trade in play.
But they're up because of the res. FNS again finding value. They know where Marv is. Jonah P has the timing here, and Marv might be telling them to come back to A. No, the spike's still committed. But Jonah P has a great idea on where this Viper lurk is.
And there's still time for OpTic, obviously, with the 50 seconds left, but it does seem like they're showing no signs of changing their mind in terms of what site to really approach.
At the moment, the guard have very little information apart from on Marv. Here, as the plant starts to go down, they'll realize that there's a committal here to B. But Trent, Valen, they weren't in position to be able to do anything about it, and there Trent hits the floor.
And that's Ye just essentially pre-firing the traces. That's why you don't really want to be spamming as much with the Vandal.
Doesn't stop people though, does it?
No, they still do it. They still do it.
And this has been an extremely effective round by OpTic, playing more for picks than actually for any level of post-plan. By the time they get into a post-plan situation, they've already basically won the round.
Yeah. And the decision being made here by the guard, obviously, to save their guns, despite the fact that they've built up quite a bankroll. I think, again, that just showcases the rare discipline that you don't normally see with rookie teams, younger teams, I would say. Like the guard, I mean, that's something that's been drilled into them by MCE, who's been their coach.
And of course, with a team full of rookies, the questions will always be there about how they... Yeah, that is so good. The questions are always going to be there about how they'll perform in a match like this. But I think one of the reasons that I still feel fairly confident about them is that they're brand new. I mean, this team formed in January, and if they were going to have issues with experience and, you know, all the classic mistakes that young teams run into, it would have happened by now, I feel.
Absolutely.
Of course, this is a different stage, but they have just demonstrated no aspect of that at all so far in their run to Masters Reykjavík. Obviously, something we'll have to be monitoring as their run progresses throughout the tournament.
And OpTic looking to at least put a dent in the run, I think. They'd be quite happy with that if they came up, obviously, when they rematched or when they last played was the guard who came up on top, and that's why we haven't seen them play in the groups just far.
OpTic have mostly been leaning towards B in a lot of these rounds, and this feels very different. They got the Viper wall down early, a minute 10 still on the clock, and this feels like an A commitment. There's 3 players here for the guard, including Net, who again, usually on B.
Nade is slow with OpTic committing a lot of their pieces to see if they can catch a player. I believe that combo was sent towards Generator with the dart as well, so if a player tried to reposition, they'd be able to unload the clip through to smoke.
Look at the Omen one way here. Jonah P just slinking his way over to Generator. They don't exactly know he's here, but he also hasn't had many opportunities. And as FNS gets lit up like a Christmas tree, there's Ye holding the angle.
Trent ends up using his Hunter's Fury as a response as soon as they lose the player, but doesn't get a pick off from it. And OpTic, all that space being gained while all that was happening from Marv, he has found his way onto the B site, a deep position, and he makes the call. He says, guys, it's free, come over here. 20 seconds remaining, but maybe Sire player can do something to disrupt it like ships in the night. He's going to pass just over to Marv, and now the plant going to start to go down.
Planted.
And it's pointless for Sire player to try and contest FNS as he gets spiked down. There's going to be a Sage Wall in the way. They're still looking for this lurker. They know there's going to be one here, and it's Net who's going to take contact. What a whiff from Victor!
Wow. Wonderful shots there to be able to find it, but FNS does get the trade in the end. Now we see the dart come through. Sire player just holding the top of the box of Ye down. That's a lot of the firepower of OpTic. It's going to be missing in this one, but maybe the rest of the team can still clutch this one forwards. Crassy's working his way around. He's going to fall. And now Valen versus Marv, the Viper players up against each other. A quick tap of the spike just to try and force the swing. And Marv, ice cold, man, ice cold.
He's crazy good. That round is so well played by Marv. He starts things off by getting a gorgeous lurk all the way into B, and he has been undetected on all of these lurks so far. Yeah, he's only 13 and 10. He's not lighting the server up with his kills, but he is just finding all of the space, all of the gaps in the defense, and then he's not baited for a single moment by that. He's 9-1 this year in 1v1s, Brent.
9-1?
9-1 in 1v1s. He has a 90% win rate in 1v1s. Marv is just ice cold.
Yeah, that boy different.
That boy different.
That boy different, I'm telling you.
They make him different up in Toronto, huh?
Apparently, apparently. Was that your attempt at like a Toronto accent?
I don't know what they'd speak like in Toronto, Brennan.
I think they say...
Yeah, and I think it's a very difficult situation they've got here because Marv is just playing so well on these lurks. But look at the state of the economy right now.
Yes.
The guard, this is their last chance at winning this map.
They lose this round. It'd be disastrous for them. Money's not ideal. Dart does a bit of work for them, but now look at Ye taking positioning up on Balt, just slowly creeping, crawling up. See if he can catch just that one angle.
What does Jonah P see?
Moving up round the corner! Trying to spam it down.
You can't lose those.
Can't lose those.
He had the opportunity to grab one and Shrouded step out. His team were there to help him as well. But OpTic go up. Net with a bit of a peek, uses his rendezvous to be able to get away there. 10 HP, 8 HP in fact. Net barely making it away with his life. But he grabs the info and so 3 players stay for guard.
And here we go. Victor pops the ultimate now. Everybody on the side going to be suppressed up, no abilities in use with the dart as well. Against the side, the nade is going to be slammed right into the corner. A little bit of a sidestep for them, but Victor will fall in the end. Still Reservoir can be picked up, but with the Viper's pit down, so hard for them. The guard, though, might just be trying to make it work, but the players are low. the more time they spend in this one, they have to dodge and juke all of this utility that's going their way. That's the kill from earlier. Marv just holstered up, trying to post up right around the corner. He has to try and find a couple more kills, but the guard are moving forwards with Ye down. It's now the 2v2. Crashies works his way into the pit. Quick little sidestep and not enough for Sire player to contend with.
Incredible response from OpTic on this map. And I say response, it's been a couple of weeks in the coming, but OpTic have got a fire lit under them. Marv here, it was labored from both sides, but he has had some real impact plays, impact kills. And he's just a menace inside his own Viper's pit.
Yeah, imagine if Marv goes down there.
Yeah.
Different round of the Viper's pit.
It is a completely different round. That opening duel, massively helpful for OpTic. And the money, it ain't looking great. Trent has a Marshall light armor on net. Trent, Valen. Net, Valen, and Jonah P, sorry.
Yeah, Marv by up here. Drone comes through, and Marv is watching for the tube push. No space gained. Viper's pit down, though, on it. And Sire player, he pushes up. He takes a risk. Rewarded for it with that pick off onto Victor. FNS is 2 points away from the res, so it's not going to be available just yet, not unless he ends up grabbing the orb and maybe a plant. They might be able to play for that, but
it's definitely possible. Sire player might have a lot of responsibility in this round, and Jonah P. He's so close to these players in mid. Marved again with the impact kill.
And the cross being found. Sire player found knives online. He did take out. Yeah, he still has to get it, but Crashy's a perfect swing. Supplements it for his team, and he takes out the star player of the guard. Dart off to the side. Shock. There's a bit of damage. 2v2. FNS with the res, might be able to use that one, and he does indeed. Victor back into the fight, but it isolates Crashies. He has to hold this down. Trent sticking it halfway now, swings around the corner, and nobody was checking it to the side.